Yo, what up, Toshi here. This is going to be a very disappointing video. I'm going to give my thoughts on Cerydra, and this is before I do record the what happened to Cerydra in beta video, obviously, because we all know that this character has been through a lot in the beta and is looking like a case of Cypher. Although Cypher is a character that was still really well received upon her release, and even in the beta, despite that character getting nerfed pretty hard compared to what she used to be, right? And the reason why is because Cypher is way more flexible and has a lot more better, like she's a universal character essentially. Cerydra is the complete opposite of that. And we're going to explain why in this video, and I'll give my thoughts and all of that. And again, the what happened to Cerydra video in the beta, whatever, is going to be way more in depth. So look for that. That should be out. I want to wait until version 5 if there ends up being any changes, but I'm going to be real here. I don't see there being any changes to this character because the kit for the most part, right, from the beginning to the end of the beta has been set in stone and has not really changed much for the better, if that makes sense. Anyways, let's talk about what Cerydra does overall for a Harmony character and her value in Honkai Star. So I actually do not own Finon, not a shocker. I don't really roll for male characters unless I have to regarding videos and stuff like that. Finon I didn't really need for any video, so I didn't roll for the character. And it's not a diss on the character whatsoever. His design looks great. I've said this before, Honkai Star Rail makes amazing male characters. Probably the best in gacha gaming the best in gacha gaming as of right now. Anyways, side of the point here, Cerydra is one of the, or Finon rather, is one of the few characters that is buffed by Cerydra. Or should I say the realistically only direct upgrade most people will roll for Cerydra based on having this character, or this isn't the first rodeo we've had with a dedicated support. We've had JQ with Acheron way back when, right? And that was pretty poorly received too. So I'm surprised that they're doing this again for another character in this game. And that's not, it's not even like the dedicated support is for a character that is the most popular character, right? Which was Acheron at the time of her arrival. Finon isn't the most popular character in the game. So it surprised me that they even make a niche support, dedicated support, for a character that isn't Castoris is more popular, is more used. So it's surprised. Obviously, she received, high assign. She has Tribi. So arguably, she already has her best in slot team right there. It just confuses me, though, that they would, make us support this niche for a character that isn't as popular as some of the other characters in the game. Now, the reason why Finon is one of the few characters that works for Cerydra is because Finon takes advantage of the skill damage increase that Cerydra gives, right? The skill crit damage increase. And he also takes advantage of the attack percentage provided by Cerydra. Now, a Harmony character giving attack percentage isn't rare. In Honkai Star, we have, I believe, Robin gives attack percent. Ting Yun gives attack percent. I don't believe Sunday gives attack percent, but, it's not. Robin is very much so prevalent in the Honkai Star meta. So, she's competing for, or, Cerydra is competing with Robin with the attack percentage given. Although the other things that Cerydra gives in her kit, it doesn't make up for being used over Robin in various other teams because she's not as compatible as Robin with those various teams because of her only buffing your skill damage and not giving additional turns like Robin does, right? Which makes Robin a lot more valuable in the Honkai Star meta as of right now. Now, buffing attack percent as of right now and only attack percent is a red flag, right? That's red flag 1. And the reason why is because we are currently in a hybrid meta. Hybrid meta in the sense of attack and HP scaling characters are now in the in-game meta. So a character that only buffs one of those stats is going to be way less valuable than a character that buffs both of those stats. So this is why a character like Tribi is extremely valuable in the meta right now, is because Tribi is indiscriminatory, right, with her buffs. She gives all type res pen to the team, which again doesn't matter if you're HP or attack percent scaling. Tribi also just gives more damage to the team damage overall, right? And if you have the first island of the character, you're giving true damage to the damage dealt of your allies, which is extremely valuable. So again, Tribi is just a much better character. Also, Tribi does increase the damage taken by the enemies, which again does not matter if you are HP or attack scaling. That's what makes her super good in the current meta. Cerydra only doing attack percent boost, which again is already being pretty niche in itself. And now she gives skill damage increase, which is extremely niche. I mean, again, we're talking like, I don't even think JQ was this niche, right? Because JQ, for the most part, gave the vulnerability damage taken by the enemies increase, right? Which is what Cypher does as of right now. And debuffs on the enemy, right? Which, again, you could force him in other teams and make it work, right? Although his best team is, of course, Acheron, but that kit is not that niche, right? Buffing attack percent and skill damage is extremely niche. Now, that's just the main bread and butter of Cerydra. She gives other stuff as well, right? She gives energy to the attacking ally that she throws her buff onto. She also gives speed to that ally as well. And she has her own personal damage, quote unquote, right? Which I have not seen yet, so I don't know how good her personal damage is. And I don't know if it's going to be anything to the tier of Tribi. Most likely not. And this is not even taking into consideration Tribi Eidolon 1, right? Because E0 Tribi puts out quite a bit of damage if you have a bit of investment into the like crit stats of the character, right? She can put out quite a bit of damage, right? From all the ultimates your allies do. And then she gets the follow-up attacks. And then she has her basic attack too. She can do quite a bit of damage. It's very disappointing that they make a character like this with such a beautiful design. I mean, I mentioned how excited I was for this character before her kit did get announced or revealed in the beta, right? I was super excited for this character, more so than Hycelin's, which I only know as Hycelin's like a dot character, which I don't even know if it's even worth doing a video on her, because she's actually like, if we look at how Cerydra got treated, Hycelin's got the opposite treatment, right? She got the youngest child treatment, essentially. It's very disappointing, though, what happens to Cerydra. Super excited for this character. I love this character design. It is really well done. And for them to just absolutely butcher the kit of this character is very, very disappointing, especially in current Honkai Star Rail. Something like this should not happen. So, Phynon isn't the only character that is, in theory, buffed by Cerydra, right? Anaxa can make good use of Cerydra as well, because Anaxa is skill damage, right? Skill damage centric character, and he is attack scaling, which he fills the shoes that is required to utilize the kit of Cerydra. He also can make advantage of that energy, right? And we all know that Anaxa could be a really strong main damage dealer. I also do not own this character. Again, I didn't really see the need of having this character just because I didn't plan to make any videos with this character, but he makes good use of the things provided by Cerydra, the energy, the speed, right? The attack, the skill damage, super duper good with Cerydra. But these are, again, Anaxa main DPS is already niche in itself, right? We're talking about a sub DPS character that you're forcing as a main DPS, which is good, mind you. But who in their right mind is going to do that when most people roll for Herda, right? And use Anaxa or rolled for Anaxa as a means to buff their Herda. Not saying there's not going to be any people out there using Anaxa with Cerydra, but we're talking about a very small portion of the overall online community or gaming space of Honkai Star Rail. Now, if you have Phynon and you have Anaxa, then Cerydra is a good pickup, right? She's a good pickup. She's going to make your account better in the end game using these two characters that did not roll for these characters, or heck, you want to save future characters because there's obviously going to be much better characters that are not as niche as Cerydra, most likely, right? I think Cerydra is probably a bait character, to be honest. Then Cerydra is just not a good pickup for you. Now, there is arguably some other characters she could buff. Like, you could use Cerydra with Seal. My only issue with Seal, using her alongside Cerydra, is that Sparkle is just better, right? Sparkle gives you a ton of attack percent for just being a quantum character, with characters like Silverwolf, who just got buffed, is now amazing with Seal, right? And any other character in the game virtually. And Fujuan is still always really good to have with Seal, but maybe you're using a sustainless setup, right? So you're not using Seal, you're not using Fujuan, right? So you have Sora Wolf and you have Sparkle. Well, you're making use of that 45% attack you're already getting from Sparkle. So that attack percent, or the attack you're getting from Cerydra, is irrelevant, right? Because you're getting that attack percent for free from Sparkle, right? And then you can have some other character in your sustainless slot, or your fourth slot, which means you could use Cerydra, but you're probably going to use a character you already have in your account, like Robin, for instance, who gets the job done and arguably better because she provides a lot more to the overall team comp and is a lot better for a sustainless run. That's not knocking Cerydra. It's just like, again, she should be less niche so that she opens up the door for more flexible teams that aren't currently already established, right, in Honkai Star Rail. She just is way too niche to be used with some of the already pre-existing characters. And even then, let's say she was useful with Seal. This is a 1.0 character, man. That is now on the standard banner. So it's not even like people are going to roll for Cerydra to buff their Seal, right? It just doesn't make sense to. Like, it's very disappointing when a character like Sparkle has more pool value than Cerydra as right now in Honkai Star Rail, because we just got Archer for free. He is amazing, right, in the in-game meta right now, in the Memory Chaos and the Apocalyptic Shadow. Best in slot with Sparkle. Cerydra is a character that you have to have one of the limited characters to make use of said character that you don't get for free, right? And Sparkle is an older character, so it's more likely that players that have been playing for a while will have this character versus Cerydra, who you also have to roll for. It's very disappointing, right? And Sparkle buffs more characters in the game, or is more versatile with other characters in the game, because she gives crit damage in a turn, not skill damage, which again is less flexible. So what does this mean for Honkai Star Rail in the future with Cerydra? There could be other characters they release in the future that make use of the kit provided by Cerydra, but you're going to be looking for the same things you were looking for with Sparkle, right? Following later patches. You want the character to have the following criteria be met in order to be useful with said character. So in the case of Sparkle back then, right, you were hoping that you were going to get a quantum damage dealer of the attack, right, the category. If they were HP scaling, they weren't going to make use of Sparkle, right? And we ended up getting Archer. But look how long it took to get Archer. We're talking like 10 plus patches over a year? It's a long time. Cerydra, I mean, you're going to need a attack scaling character that does a lot of damage with their skill, right? And the only characters we have right now is Finon and main DPS and Axa. That's it. And any other character you'd be waiting will probably be for a while, because I'd imagine they wouldn't release another character that is dependent on their skill for doing damage and also of attack scaling. Considering we just got Finon, an attack scaling character, and Archer, attack scaling character, and Saber, another attack scaling character, who aren't buffed by Cerydra, by the way. 2 new characters. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Now, again, I'm not trying to diss on Cerydra. I love this character. Amazing character design. I actually ended up pre-farming for the character. I can show you my build right now. But I am disappointed. I'm pre-farming for the character that I don't even know why I'm pre-farming for and rolling for, because I have no use for this character in my account, because she is not going to be better than any of the other Harmony characters or just other characters in general I use with my main DPS characters as of right now. I'm just rolling for her because I love the character aesthetic. That's pretty much it. And I feel like there is a lot of other people out there that are also like me and rolling for this character based on her aesthetic. And maybe Hoyoverse is banking on that with this character. And the reason why they're not doing anything drastic in terms of changes for the character overall is because they want to sort of bait the simps right before they release a broken powerhouse Harmony character again. Who even knows at this point? But I am very disappointed. I'm going to have the what happened to Cerydra in beta video in the coming days, so look forward to that. That's the video here. Thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Let me show the build real quick before I do dip. So this is my current pre-farmed build for Cerydra. Super, again, excited for this character. Her stats are amazing. Normally, I don't have a character pre-farmed this well before the release, so it is surprising that I was able to get this build done in a timely manner. But man, like, I wouldn't be kidding if I wouldn't have said this here. This is a waste of resources, and it is, again, just not going to have much value in my accounts. But I mean, just look at this character design. I love it. All right, bye bye.